Hi, welcome to lesson number 5. Today we're going to start on page 40, and we're going to start by talking about the octave sign. So if you remember in our intervals on the piano, intervals are the amount of space in between certain notes. So a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then an eighth is called an octave. So it's from a C to a C or D to a D, so it's from one same note to another same note. So that's what we're talking about here. There's a sign for it. It's an 8 with a VA. And what that means is if you see this sign, if you look down here in this next piece, you're going to play regular middle C here, and then you're going to pop up to the C above it, one octave higher, to play this part. And then it's also teaching you that 15 MA means 2 octaves higher or lower, depending on where this octave sign is. If it's underneath, it means play lower. If it's above, it means play higher. So you'd again pop up another octave, 2 octaves from middle C, and play this section 2 octaves higher. And the same with the bottom. You're gonna start with middle C with your left hand, and then you're going to play 1 octave lower, and then 2 octaves lower. So I'm going to give you an example. It first says that you should tap the rhythm with your hand. Okay, so I'm just going to tap with my finger. It goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here we are. Let's start on middle C with our thumb, and it's going to start 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Move up an octave. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Then you're going to do the same thing with your left hand, starting with middle C with your thumb on middle C. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. And you can do a better job than I did at dynamics if you want to. So that second octave higher, the first octave higher is supposed to be a little bit quieter. So, all right. The next page tells you a little bit about sight reading. So I used to get really good at sight reading when I was a kid because I didn't practice very much. So when I got to my lessons, it was all sight reading. So sight reading is playing straight through a piece without stopping for corrections or adjustments, and often that means kind of playing it for the first time. So it's your first go around, you just play through as best you can. So there's a couple of tricks to doing it. You can first determine the starting keys and fingers. So look at where you start, set a beat for yourself, kind of look through the piece, focus your eyes on the notes ahead, on the note heads, the round part. And you want to sight read kind of just like you read a book. As you're reading a book, you don't focus necessarily on just the word that you're saying. You have a tendency to look ahead and be able to read ahead a little bit, so you kind of do that as you sight read as well. And then it says play rather slowly, always moving your eyes ahead. Okay, so I am actually not going to play these for you because I want you to be able to just sight read and work on those on your own. Then down here at the bottom, what we're going to do together, I'm going to go ahead and play 1 or 2 of these little passages below here, and you are going to determine if I'm playing, well actually I'll end up playing all of them, but in a different order. So I'm going to play, and you need to determine if I'm playing a 3/4 timing section or a 4/4 timing section. So if it sounds like you've got the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 beat, that's the 3/4. If it sounds like you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the 4/4 timing. So here's the first one. Okay, I'm going to give you second to think about that. And you should have come up with 4/4 timing. Here's the second. Okay, think about it for a second. That should be 3/4 timing. Think about it. That is also 3/4 timing. And here comes the last one. Okay, and that one was 4/4 timing. Okay, so now we're on page 42. This is actually unit 3, so we're going to kind of try to start sectioning our lessons into units. Some of the units are a little longer than others, but that we'll have to do 2 lessons for, but we'll try to keep it pretty close to using the units. What we're talking about here, the treble clef note G, okay, sits here on this second line, and actually the treble clef is also called the G clef. So over here it's showing you, this is old-fashioned writing, I guess, an old letter G, and the circle on the treble clef sign circles that line where the G falls, so it's called the G clef. Okay, so it's saying, do a little hand warm up. You're gonna, with your right hand, start on C, and C with your 1 finger, 5 finger on G, and you're just gonna kind of, it says just rock back and forth on that interval. Okay, so you kind of warm up a little bit. All right, and then here we have the chant of the monk. It says, a monk singing this piece would take a breath at the end of each slur. So if you remember, these are slur lines, kind of like sentences. So the monk would sing Alleluia, and then you kind of lift your hands up and then put them back down. And do it again and kind of lift up. Okay, so we're gonna repeat this song. First, we're gonna play in forte. Second, we're going to play in piano on the repeat. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example, and then I'm also gonna give you an example of this while I'm at it. Underneath it says you can take this that's written in the C pentascale, okay, and you can transpose it to the G pentascale. So what it's saying is you start here, and you do it in C like it's written, but then you can bring it up here and do it in the G pentascale, and you just follow the same pattern of the other notes, but transposed up to here. So I'm going to give you the example of both of those right now. Okay, so chant of the monks. Start with your thumb on middle C. Okay, all right. And our beat is 4/4 timing, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we go. Lift. 2, 3, 4, lift. Okay, and then repeat it, quiet. Lift. 2, 3, 4, lift. Okay. All right. Now, if you turn to the next page, you're gonna notice this is the same song. Okay. They've just added a little bit to it. So, it's gonna be both hands. You can start by just playing it with one hand until you get used to it. So it's really just the same song. But this time you're going to play both hands together. So play loud, and it says rather slowly and flowing. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit, okay? that's on our schedule to practice. And once you have it down, you can go ahead and try the duet. We're changing it up just a little bit where the duets are now on the website. So I'm no longer going to play the duet part in the lesson video. You can just use the little audio buttons on the website. That way you don't have to scroll back through the video. So hopefully that actually works out a little bit easier for everybody. So I'm just going to go on to the next song. And this one is talking about the bass clef note G. Okay, this is a new one for us. So we're just adding it in. So here it is, it's the top space note in the bass clef, and Shining Stars is just going to add that in. Okay, now it's showing you that this is written in kind of a format, right? A, B, A1, and coda. So this is kind of a new thing. So the coda is the ending section. Okay, now sometimes they're gonna switch that around, but that's what that means. Coda means ending section. Okay, so if you notice at the end, we're going to do our octave higher and our 2 octaves higher here. Okay, so we're gonna move up a little bit. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, you've got your slurs, kind of your sentences. This is all melody. So your left hand has the melody too. Okay? All right. I'm going to give you an example of how to play this one. And it's written in 4/4 timing. Our 3 finger starts on E. So once again, our thumb on C. Okay? Our 2 finger begins on A. Okay, so here's my hand position. All right. Here we go. And you use your damper pedal and you hold it down the whole song. Okay, here we go. 2. Now, if you notice, it sounded all kind of smeared together, and that's from the pedal. Usually in songs, you lift the pedal up every once in a while so that it doesn't all ring together, but they're just kind of getting used to that pedal. So, okay. All right, the last song that we're going to do in this lesson is Roman Trumpets. They're going to teach you a little bit about the F clef, which is the bass clef. So it comes from the letter F, written in kind of old-fashioned. So they just put dots instead of lines, if you notice that. And it's around the F line here in the bass clef. Okay, so it says to do the same thing, kind of warm up, where you put your thumb on middle C with your left hand and your pinky on the F. Okay, and you're just gonna rock back and forth between those two, just kind of warm up. That's gonna be your hand position for this next song. Okay, all right, so here's Roman trumpets. You've got some accent marks, so you play these pretty loud. Okay, gotta give some of your notes the full count, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, some whole notes there that you need to make sure you give the full count. And then here at the end, you're gonna do a retardando or a retard, and that means slow down. Okay, slow down at the end. So, all right, here we go. I'm gonna give you an example of this one. All right. 4 finger on F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thumbs are together on middle C, okay? All right, here we go. And you're gonna use your pedal just for the little sections at the beginning of each of those lines, okay? About that all made sense. And that, oh, no, it doesn't. I actually wanted to start one new thing today. This is going to be an extra thing that's not in your book. So if you notice on the web page, there's another column next to the lessons. I haven't added in this lesson 5 yet, but here's all of your duets where you can just practice, and as soon as you're ready, you can try to play the duets here, okay? Now, here's a little bit of extra. So, we are gonna start doing a C scale, hand separate for 2 octaves. And I'm gonna show you what that looks like. This is a document that you can open up. And actually, I'm just gonna show you. So we're gonna do with a top scale today, the C major scale, and that is all on the white keys, but the thing that you're gonna wanna notice here is the fingering, okay? The fingering is tricky for scales, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. Okay, so when doing scales, you wanna make sure that your hands have good position. You've got your hand really rounded, and the reason is as you're doing your scale, you're going to walk your way up, but you're going to tuck your thumb underneath to get back to the next note, okay? So the fingering here goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to tuck under. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Then coming back down, you're going to do the same thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But your finger is going to come over your thumb this time. 3, 2, 1. Come over. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come over. 3, 2, 1. Now the trick is you don't want to flip your wrists as you're moving, okay? You really want to get that thumb to just sneak under. So you're just crawling up those keys. Okay, and then going down is just the opposite fingering. And you'll notice your thumb is always going to land on C unless you're stopping, and then you stop with your 5 finger, your pinky. C, okay, all right, so that's the right hand. We're just doing 2 octaves. The left hand, we're going to do the same thing. We're walking down, and the left hand is the same fingering, just opposite directions, okay? So, we're going to start in middle C and just go down first with the left. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to slow down. You can do this with me this time if you didn't do it last time, and let's just go together. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. So added on to your assignment this week is this scale. Good luck. If you have any questions, just let me know. And hopefully I'll see you next lesson.